Hi everybody and welcome back to Totem Tuesday. Sorry there's been no videos the last couple of weeks, but I'm back now with some more videos for you all. And thank you for all your comments and support and for sharing all my videos. And hello to all the new people that have subscribed to my channel. It's really, really appreciated. So this week on Totem Tuesday, I'm going to be looking at a bird that has really been prevalent and relevant to my last couple of weeks. Now, what I usually do in these videos is if an animal has appeared really strongly, meditation or just in life, then I'll look at that. Or if you guys have really asked for something, then I'll look at that. However, this week I've been asked, well, the last few weeks I've been asked to draw a specific animal. And every time I've drawn an animal or work with an animal, it just kind of takes over my life for a little while. So this last few weeks it's been Puffin land for Laura. Amazing, puffins make me happy. And that's the end of the video. Puffins make me happy. Bye. No, I'm only joking. But they do. Look at them. They're so beautiful. They just flap their wings. They just look so fun. And they've got beautiful bright beaks. But there's a lot more to puffins than meets the eye. And there's a lot of puffin medicine and puffin totem guidance that I've been researching and looking at. But actually when I started looking at it, I went, oh right, actually that's really relevant to what I'm feeling at the moment and to what's going on. So, puffins. Small seabirds, around 12 inches in size. They come from the auks or the alcids or alcids family, and they live in the northern waters. Their scientific name, I'm getting very scientific, is Fratercula. Does sound like a cousin of Dracula, maybe like a cousin of Count Duckula, if you remember that cartoon series of the vegetarian vampire duck. But apparently it doesn't mean that. Apparently it doesn't. Fratercula, it means little brother or little friar. And we'll come to why it's called little friar in just a second, actually, because that's quite relevant to a lot of the medicine that we're going to be looking at with puffins. There's been really interesting different things coming up when I've been researching it online, and what I always feel it's really important, most important, to see your own reaction to an animal, see how you feel when you see it in the wild or when you meditate on it. And quite a few years ago, I went on a boat trip in the Farne Islands, which is just off the coast of Northumberland, and there's lots of puffins there, and on this boat trip, and they were you just saw them flying past the boat, skimming over the sea, and their little bodies, little tubby bodies, but their little wings were going 10 to dozen, and it just made me happy. Just looking at puffins flying, it did just make me happy. I did research that. Apparently they can beat their wings up to 400 times per minute. For a little thing, that is really, really sweet. But they speed and they dart across the air above the ocean. So the real striking aspect of a puffin is, of course, its beak. It's a very large beak, very bright and colourful beak. The colours of the beak are red, yellowy, orange and blue. And the colours of the puffin, of its plumage, is black and it's white. Sometimes called the penguin of the north because they live in the north. There are three different types of penguin, the tufted and the horned penguin, which live in the Pacific, North Pacific Ocean. Then you've got the Atlantic puffin, which I'll give you three guesses to find out where that lives. Yep, it's in the North Atlantic Ocean. You've got those three types of puffin. And there's something really interesting that I was reading. I was reading Ted Andrews' book, Animal Speak. And he goes into something I hadn't thought about with puffins, the colours of the puffins and how they relate to the Kabbalah, the tree of life in the Kabbalah. And in the Kabbalah, I'm a bit rusty on my Kabbalah knowledge, so I am looking at my notes. We've got white, which is the hidden spiritual world, on the black, which is the earth, so the spiritual brought to the earth. And then there's the yellow, which links to Tiphereth, the temple of the heart, which child's prayer, so the temple of the heart with the yellow. The colour orange and red, it's got orange legs, the puffin has, and a bit of orange in its beak sometimes, orange and red, links to Geburah, the temple of strength and work. And you've got the blue on the beak as well, which links to Chesed, the temple of abundance, which was kind of an interesting thought. And actually, when you start looking more about what puffin medicine is, yeah, these aspects, work, joy and abundance, come up really often when you look at puffin energy. So that got me thinking about the chakras that they relate to as well. So you've got the yellow, the solar plexus chakra there, which is the seat of the sense of self, who you are, I am, the shining, radiant, confident, beautiful self energy. And you've got the orange, you've got my tummy. You've got the orange, the sacral chakra, which is very sensual. It's very sexual. It's very watery and family and child energy there as well. And you've got the red of the root chakra, the base chakra, the passion for life, the strength, the survival, the very fiery and alive aspect of ourselves. Then you've got the blue, the throat chakra, or going to the third eye chakra as well. So communication and true communication, and the aspect of prayer, meditation as well. So just a little bit of a offshoot, really, that just got me thinking about the colours of the puffin. And when we look at what those colours mean, again, we'll keep seeing it again and again, the aspects about prayer, meditation, work and joy. Because one thing that I love, and I put in big capital letters in my notes, is what the puffin teaches us is humour. Humour is important. Often forgotten in the spiritual world. You know, everybody takes us very seriously. I'm meditating, I'm doing my detox, I'm doing this. Like, oh, good, I'm really, no, there's a time for seriousness. Of course there is. There's a time for being sombre, for deep meditation, for complete seriousness. And I would not ever take that out of anyone's spiritual life or spiritual practice. It is so, so important. However, we can take ourselves a bit too seriously sometimes, and some of the most beautiful spiritual health and physical health boosts can come from having a laugh, can come from fun, and can come from keeping your sense of humour. And that is one thing that the puffin teaches us, really, about the balance between your work. You know, you're working hard, you're providing, you're beating your wings very fast, you're looking after your family, you're diving deep, you're having the confidence to do that. Prayer, we'll come back to that in a second, meditation, manifestation and prayer, and humour and joy. So if puffin has come in a meditation or just appeared in your life, have a little look and think, you know, which of those aspects are out of balance? Are you is everything too much of a joke to you and you're not taking anything seriously? Has your sense of humour just been a bit absent from your spiritual work recently? It's time to go and have a laugh. It's kind of springtime at the moment. It's kind of getting that energy coming back to the world. Or you know, has you not maybe not been working so hard as you could have been, or you feel a bit out of sorts in that balance. So look at those aspects and see the three main aspects. You know, prayer, devotion, sort of that kind of same thing. Is it time to devote yourself more time to your spiritual practice? Laughing, joy, humour, and work. Have a look at those things and see if anything's out of balance, if puffin has come up. And just even if it hasn't, I think it's a good, healthy thing to do anyway. The reason we're talking about prayer so much is apparently, I haven't seen a puffin in the wild for too long, apparently when they come out of the ocean, their little feet are together like they're in prayer. I thought that's really sweet. And that's why that they're also called little friar as well as little brother. And when they hunt, when they go to feed, they dive very, very deep into the sea. And they can catch up to 30 small fish in their mouths and their big beaks at a time. They dive very deeply and they're very graceful underwater because they swim with their little wings. So have a little think here. What can this show us? The waters of spirituality, the waters of emotion. And you're diving deep to get the treasure, to get what you'll need, your sustenance. So it's not about skimming the surface. This is about actually having the confidence and the guts to say, I'm doing this, I'm going to go for it. I'm diving in. And I'm going to get, I have the guts, I've prayed, I've meditated, I have tuned into what it is I truly want, and I'm just going to go in and I'm going to go for it. And the prayer coming out is almost like, yeah, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I am totally joyful about what I've achieved. So having those aspects as well is really, really interesting and nice and good to think about and contemplate before we go for a goal or make any changes in our lives. So we trust ourselves, we go for it, we have the strength and we make the effort, we work hard, and then we are joyful and thankful, and that nourishes the soul. Again, the humour is telling us not to take ourselves too seriously either. So if we find ourselves getting too stressed about a situation, whatever it is, whether your spiritual path is not really going where you want to go, or you're having a little argument with somebody, just take a step back. But when the puffins fly, they just fly just above the water. They don't fly too high above the water. So it's kind of being in tune with your emotions and in tune with your spirituality, but having the ability to step back and just fly across the things that you don't want to have to, get too embroiled in. Puffins live at the top of cliffs usually, or on islands, and those two places are also very important and magical and spiritual. You'll see that in many artworks and meditations and writings. Top of a cliff, top of a mountain, a cliff, or an island is a place of the other world, or where you're linking to the spirit world. So possibly a puffin coming into your life in any way could be showing you to link more to a message that you're going to be more in tune with your own spiritual path. You're maybe getting messages from spirit. A lot of birds do represent messages from spirit. And maybe because puffins are really curious animals, it could be something where your own curiosity is being stimulated and awoken, and you want to find out more about something, maybe your spirituality or something else, you know. It's all about spirituality. You could be your own spirituality, or your own curiosity has just become alive. And I want to find out and discover this. So the lovely abundant puffin is showing you, yes, it's time to do this. Real prayer, genuine prayer. Meditate on what that means to you. You know, we're told what prayer is. But what is prayer to you? What is devotion? What is meditation to you? A genuine, real prayer. I think there's a lot of things to think about this week or so as well. So we've looked at the balance of abundance, joy, work, prayer, but also look at what is that? What does that mean to you? Not just I'm saying the words because I've been told to say them, or I read it in a book, it sounded cool. I would love you guys to meditate on what real prayer and real devotion is this week and what it means to you. Yeah. So from that to more practical times, so the beak, the beautiful beak of the... I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm trying to pretend to have a beak. Of the puffin. It's so brightly coloured, but when it's breeding season is when the beak is really brightly coloured. When breeding season's over, the colour's dull, or sometimes puffins will shed a bit of their beak, so it's lessened. The colours are brighter when it's breeding season. And there's some interesting things that I've read about puffins and lifetime relationships, lifetime partners and family. And some of these things here that I would like you to have a think about as well. It's all your opinion. I'm just throwing my ideas out there. What I've read, sometimes I think we put too much of our own personal emotion on animals, like we do in movies and stuff. But I'd like to hear your opinion, because I was reading this bit about puffins, and that puffins represent parental abandonment, and about how, because when the babies are quite young, puffins will go to sea to bring food back for the babies. So the parents leave the babies alone for quite a while. And I was reading this about parental abandonment, and what I feel personally is maybe we're kind of putting a bit of our own emotion on it, and this, it's not about being abandoned so much, but maybe it's about dealing with, again, only my opinion, dealing with the shift and the mild trauma that happens when we realise that our parents don't stay with us all the time, that they have to go and do other things as well. So maybe working with puffins can come up when it's at a time in your life, however old or young you are, whether you're the mother, the daughter, the father, the son, whatever, or if you're all of those things, when there's a shift in the responsibility or a shift in the pattern of the relationship. So maybe it can come up when you're working with the patterns in the relationship with your own family, and puffin might come in. But I was reading it was about abandonment, and how to deal with abandonment issues when your parents go to work and you feel abandoned. So again, that could be relevant for you. I'm not saying it's not. Another thing I read as well was, it's really sweet, really, really sweet, that puffins mate for life and they look for their lifetime partner. So maybe if you really strongly resonate with puffin, totem puffin energy, you feel really drawn to finding your lifetime partner, your one soulmate, your however you want to say it. And I think that's really sweet and lovely, and and puffins do mate for life. But then I read this other bit saying, well, if a puffin doesn't find their lifetime partner, they're very sad. And I was like, oh, poor puffins, don't want to be sad. But then I'm thinking, are we just projecting our own stuff on them? Are we projecting, have we asked them, are you sad? Maybe they've just chosen that hermit path. I don't know. But again, it's that same thing. I guess it's hard when we're with totem energy, because we're really working it with our own energy. So we do project our own emotions onto them. But I sometimes find these statements quite sweeping. And I'd like to know what you feel about all of this. But lifetime partners and and family and all that kind of thing is something that we look at with puffin as well. So what else have I written about puffins? Yep, parental abandonment, got that. Did that. Lifetime mating, got that. Companionship, well, even if it's not a lifetime partner, someone that works with puffin energy really does want that companionship, that deep connection companionship. They're also called the penguin of the north. I quite like that as well. And because they are particularly, they're only in the north of the world, there's a sense of knowing where you come from. Maybe you work with northern mythology, or drawn to the north of the world, or maybe you're looking at your own ancestry and want to know where you come from and where your history and your past is. That could be something you can work with puffin energy as well. The main predator of the puffin is us. We've eaten them, and that's one part of the life cycle. However, what I worry about as much or more is the pollution and the habitat loss and the crap that we leave in the ocean that poisons and kills. And that's what I'm really, because I'm sure that in this day and age probably not that many people eat puffins, but I think it's more the pollution and the habitat loss and the stuff in the oceans and the litter and everything that's causing a lot of problems and a lot of concern there for puffins, because I think the numbers have declined quite significantly. Yes, what else have we got here? Yeah, the elements that we're going to work with puffin would be water. Obviously, very graceful in the water, streamlined, amazing hunters, go into the depths. So that's really something that maybe if you work with puffin energy, you could feel very at one with your emotions, at one with your spiritual path, very at ease in those spiritual realms. However, a little bit clumsy on the earth. Most seabirds are, they're not as graceful on earth as they are on land because they're seabirds. So sometimes focusing on bringing that deep energy into the practical world could be something you could work with if you have a seabird as your totem, especially a puffin. And I was reading, they're very ungraceful in the air. Well, I disagree. I think they're very beautiful in the air. The way they fly is so cute, and they dart around. They kind of remind me of that very fast, airy energy of having an idea and that spark of inspiration and going for it and going, I'm going to think this, I'm going to go there. So having fast, quick ideas as well is something that you work with puffin energy. And because they're linked to relationships and they're linked to courtship and meeting that partner and being in that space, they also link to protection, so protecting your family, protecting what's yours or how you feel, however you use that term. And also aggression, because maybe you feel that you're working on aggression level regarding jealousy or regarding it's mine, what are you doing? Stay away. They could bring these aspects into your life as well. And to expect the unexpected and to be joyful and surprised by things that seem different in your life. Because I think puffins are quite eccentric looking creatures, and to embrace the strange, to embrace what's not the norm and a little bit different is something that you can work with puffin energy as well. My belly's saying embrace some dinner would be nice as well. So on that note, before my belly starts having a riot, I've really enjoyed researching and sharing this information and knowledge and ideas about the puffin with you. I would love to know your thoughts, as always, if puffin has appeared in meditation, or if you've seen them and you have a specific feeling or an experience you've had with them. Again, share with me here or send me a message or do the normal lovely YouTube social media thing, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely one. Bye.